before I had a license, we were like going across the street and we almost got in a car
He
crash
almost
going
killed.
across the
Yeah,
street.
you
Yeah, that
almost killed us
was
saying, "Oh yeah, great cars blend in with the ground." Jungle in Puerto
what?
Rico, and the Puerto Ricans think I'm them. Like that's way better than just ziplining on the cruise. Like, and you know what I'm saying? That's you gotta. You're talking about two things that are
Build you
amazing.
guys
Some
up. But if
people
you say things in a way where you're almost reasoning with them, that's the best way to put it. If you're reasoning with them, like, then you'll get what you want more
coming up
so.
right here. You've seen it, bro, firsthand. So now you take that anxiety and stress and you just put it on a piece of paper. Come on, you don't want to deal with that, bro. You don't want to deal with that.
You are now watching the Westmoreland Bros Podcast.
Welcome back to the Westmoreland Bros Podcast, episode 67.
There we go. You already knew that. What's 6 plus 7? All right, he didn't know that, ladies and gentlemen. That's okay. It's 13. We'll keep it pushing, though. You know what I'm saying?
I
We
was gonna say
got
21. Well, that's a different
9
joke.
plus
9 plus
10.
10.
Come on,
Yeah, I
man.
know.
Come on, man.
I was like, what is? I wasn't sure the joke was. My bad. It wasn't a
Oh, no,
joke.
it wasn't a joke. No, it wasn't a joke. It was just the answer. How you feeling? It's Sunday, man. How you feeling? How you feeling today?
6, 7. How am I feeling? I'm feeling good. Got some good sleep last night. Just got some things to handle today. Some priorities to handle today. What about you?
Priorities. I'm good. You know, it's Sunday, so I ain't do nothing yet. Still a little early, but I'm gonna get active later on, hit a meeting. And I'm gonna get some burgers with Fave. You know what I'm saying? I'm like that. But you know, it's the second week of what? January. So we got to get into the awarenesses. You know what I'm saying? We got two more awarenesses. The first one is birth defects awareness. We know that this happens sometimes. Life is life. But this is so we can educate people about conditions that develop during pregnancy and how they affect the babies, like where what stage the baby's at. So these are all things women obviously want to particularly look up to understand the causes and risks, prevention guidance, and early detection. And obviously, they always have support and resources when this happens. So, to all the ladies out there, please, if you want to get pregnant, if you are pregnant currently, just keep up with your doctor's appointments. You know, we want the healthiest birth for you out there. So, shout out all the women out there making the world a bigger place. The second one we got for this month, or for this week rather, is thyroid awareness. It's once again educating people about the disorder of the thyroid gland, which is a small gland in the neck that controls metabolism, energy, heart rate, and mood. So it's an important gland in all of our bodies. So just get your thyroid checked out, make sure. I mean, all these awarenesses obviously are always encouraging people, you out there who are watching, just get checked up by the doctor regularly so we can avoid all these things. But also, if you know anybody going through such awarenesses, this is their month, so maybe show them even extra support, extra love, because it's dedicated to them and they know it's their month. A lot of people around them may not. So just stay up to date and keep your family and friends, close in mind, check in. But those are the two we got for this week. So we appreciate you listening, and please comment. If you got somebody, please like this. If you got somebody dealing with this, and just share. It's all about health as well. So share these two for the week. We could keep going.
We appreciate that, man. We appreciate that for sure. I have a different segment today, and it's kind of something I already did, but for this version of it, it'll be like a throwback. So it's called "What Will Be Worse If It Still Existed Today?" Right?
Okay.
Things evolve, things change, things get better. But sometimes looking at the past, it's like there are good times, but there are some things where it's like, man, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that anymore. So the first thing, what's worse? Throwback. Paying to talk on the phone or paying to listen to an album. Because now, we have Apple Music. If you don't like an album, cool. But back then you had to buy it, right? Same with phone calls. If you only had a certain amount of minutes. So what's worse?
Mm-hmm. I wasn't heavy in the era. I mean, I still remember when our phone had minutes and the text had minutes and all that. However, I wasn't an adult, so I would say that didn't impact me as much. So I'm gonna just skip right to the latter.
Look at each from the perspective of strictly what's worse, because we're like in the middle. So everything isn't necessarily our era, but some of these will be things that we've heard
So
of.
just in general, okay.
Yeah,
What will be worse, paying to talk on the phone, or what was the other one?
paying for an album. Like you've never heard it,
Uh,
you're buying an album. trusting is good.
I say then on the phone because you gotta communication is key. You gotta communicate with people. An emergency happens, you gotta communicate. If an emergency happens, we're not necessarily worried about what albums we bought or didn't buy. And then in the same light, it's like if you can't afford the album, maybe it's always a party animal in every group, or it's always one friend where you go to his house to kick it. I'm that friend. So it's like if I know I'm that friend, then it's like I might just already have the records at my house. You know what I'm saying? Because that's
Fair,
that's the type of vibe I be on. So I definitely
fair.
say paying for communication is crazy.
Oh, okay. I agree with that. I agree. I can see that. The album one is a little crazy too because now if you don't like something, you're like, oh, it's trash compared to if you had to buy it and then see it's trash. That'll feel bad. It's like seeing a bad movie type thing. Anyway, what's worse? Throwback. Having to use an actual map for GPS, like a paper map, or waiting for film to develop. When we used to take photos and then you had to take it to like Walgreens and then they'll make it pretty much and you have to
But
get
I
it
was
days later.
that was just part of the process. I mean, both things were part of the process. You know what I'm saying? But as far as cameras, you most likely weren't messing around with film or cameras if that wasn't like a hobby or something you enjoy. Now obviously we have the one-offs with the dad who don't stop recording like our dad, but then again he liked to do that, so to
He
trust the
did.
process he'll be fine waiting on the film to develop. So the roadmap is definitely worse. I mean, run one wrong turn from that passenger and you go left instead of right and you could have a whole nother half hour drive or something, because back then it wasn't as many roads. It wasn't as clear, and what I mean by as clear, you just didn't know. Like if you was somewhere you never been before, there was no clear direction to go. You were not sure. Nowadays it's a lot easier with the GPS system. One wrong turn, Siri or whatever Google thing is on it right away. You see what I'm saying? So the roadmap 10 times worse. Cause then imagine if the wifey, or I'm not gonna blame it all on the wife. So maybe your husband out there, your spouse, whoever it was in that passenger seat, what if they dropped a coffee on it? Now the map is ruined. Now you gotta go to the
That's a good
local
point.
gas station that
That's a good
isn't so
point.
local to you because this is a road trip. You gotta buy a new map. And hopefully they're not out of maps. Cause back then, those were, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely the map.
That's a good point. I feel like I remember D printing off like an actual map. Like they'll use it off the printer. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I feel
They'll
like I
print off
remember that.
stops, yeah. They'll print out the
Right. And
stops like at each stop.
I low key, yeah, I can see that. I can see it. It's kind of up in the air, but the way you broke it down, I think I would agree that the maps is worse, especially if they're reading it wrong. Because that's something I never even thought about. Like when I'm driving, I can just look at the maps. But if you're driving, you can't you literally can't hold the map right there. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Nope.
That's kind of tough. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, maps plus the
Cause
construction too.
bro, there's no way for new construction to be read on the map. You just get there and now it's like we gotta go 90 miles back the other way and take the longer route that we didn't want to do. But imagine this now. You've been in the car with people who can't drive, even with the GPS. The GPS is right there and they're freaking out because they got to get over a lane or because the exit is coming up right here. You've seen it, bro, firsthand. So now you take that anxiety and stress and you just put it on a piece of paper. Come on. You don't want to deal with that, bro. You don't want to deal with that.
That's a good point. The map is literally telling you how far away your exit is, and they still be blowing it. But my thing is, do you think because we have it so easy, people's skills have dropped off compared to before? It's like you had to be skilled with using a map to where it's like now you can kind of be lazy, like, oh, I missed my exit, no big deal, it'll redirect me. Do you think it's that, or do you think those people would still be the same just with a paper map?
Well, I feel like stupid is stupid. You know what I mean? Stupid does what stupid sees, stupid, whatever it is. So if you stupid with an electronic form, you're gonna be far worse with paper. You're gonna pretty much
Okay.
be I can't say that word, but you're gonna be that word that people don't like to say with the new generation, that R word. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, because you gotta understand too, I know people who don't even know how to get home, who don't even know how to get to their house without putting it in. They don't even know how to get from their house to work without putting it in the maps, bro. And you know why? It's not because they don't do it every day. It's not because they didn't have the job for years. It's because they solely rely on this electronic device. So they've never taken the time out to look at their surroundings while they're driving, to pay attention to what road they're driving. It's insane, bro. So many people, to what I just said, are going to relate to that, bro. I, it's just sad. Yeah, so if you're aware, if you're an aware, I don't even want to say that. How do I say that? Better English. If you are I'm gonna just say present driver, and you are very attentive. That's the word. With an electronic device, then you'll have no problem with paper. If you are not, if you are the opposite of that, if you do not pay attention with an electronic device, you would never drive on paper. You wouldn't take no road trip.
Fair enough. And for the last one, what's worse? Throwback. Needing to go to the bank for every deposit, or car windows you had to crank down. What's worse?
The car windows you gotta crank down is not worse because I think even people my age, most of us have probably been in a car with that. I'm not saying we own one, but somebody you knew
Right.
had one of those for sure. And they're probably still out there today. That's one thing about cars. A trapper is always gonna sell because somebody always need their first car. So trappers are still
Yep.
out here. You still got the crank and roll windows. The other day I was at the gas station, and the dude had a Chevy or a Caddy that was a throwback, and he put gas in it, but the gas was on the license plate. It wasn't on either side. So if you still driving cars that old where you put the gas in the license plate, like the license plate literally folded down and it was open like this and then it just closed back up. It was the smoothest thing I've ever seen in my life. I want a car like that now. But yeah, so the windows no problem. The other what was the first one again?
The bank deposit, you have to manually go
The
in.
bank deposit is irritating. Every week, if you get paid weekly, you got to go every week to the bank, which you don't want to do. Then you got to wait for your money to actually be there. It processes within. Back then, it wasn't 2 days. Back then, it was longer. You probably had to wait 3 or 4 business days for it to process. And it's just a headache. I mean, for every transaction, you have to go to the bank. You have to. It could be far from your house. It could be close to your house, but it's still a headache. It's just one more stop you have to make. Like, nah.
That is a headache.
Electronic deposit and direct deposit saves a lot of time.
I feel like it might put you in a bad place too, because with the internet, we kind of know.
Yeah.
You can't. I shouldn't say we do know, but you can know what is the best bank, what's the best option, what can get you the most for your money. So if you're not close to that bank and you have to manually deposit, now you're stuck with a bank that you don't want to even be at, but you just have to be at because it's the closest one to you. That'd be a pain in itself. So, yeah,
Man.
I think that one's definitely worse.
I didn't even think about this aspect. It goes along with what you were saying. People needed cash back then, but there was no way to get cash. Like you couldn't pay electronically, right? Like if you had a card
Right.
physically, you could, but everybody didn't necessarily couldn't do that. So you had to go to the bank and get money out. So now you carrying more cash flow on you than ever. I'm pretty sure if we looked it up, bank robberies have gone down probably even in the last 10 years than ever before. Because you really don't got to go to a bank like that. If you go to you go to the bank if you're old because they don't like doing it the new way because they stuck in their ways, which I get now that I'm getting older
Yeah.
with certain things changing. And then the other time you go to the bank, if it's just an emergency, something tweaking out, you got to talk to somebody or whatever. Otherwise, you don't go to the bank like that. No more.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But that's it, man. That's it for what's worse.
We appreciate what was worse. We're gonna follow that up with some healthy tips. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times in life, we could be in a relationship that's just getting worse and worse, and we don't want that, do we? No. So we're gonna have relationship tips, but they're coming straight from a married man, Zachariah himself. You see what I'm saying? So he's being put on the spot with certain questions. We're gonna have a fun, good time with this. And you see his excitement, ladies and gentlemen. He's stressing already, and we didn't even get to start. So let's get it. The first one, Zach,
Oh gosh.
the conversation of compatibility. You know what I'm saying? Some people think opposites attract. Some people think the same attract. So Zach, the question is, how much does it matter? That's it. How much does compatibility matter?
Compatibility is a big thing. I wouldn't get caught up on thinking there's only one way to be compatible. Like you have to be opposite or you have to be the same or everything has to be locked in. I do think there has to be some commonalities. I don't know if that's a word, but I just used it. I think has to be some
Like
things
it.
you have in common with your partner. Yeah. Like religion, I think is a big thing. If you and your partner share a different religion, not saying that people have not made separate religions work. Of course they have. But it makes that so much easier if you are the same religion. Because that should be the base of what you do and don't believe. How you do and don't live your life, what's right and wrong in your eyes. And if you clash on that, it's gonna be really difficult to make it the relationship work. So I think that's a good place to start, and then you build upon that in terms of the individual. But I wouldn't get caught up on, even like people get caught up on the signs, like, oh my gosh, you're
Mm-hmm.
born in this month, so you're this sign, so I could never date you, or it says you're gonna be a bad person or whatever. I don't get caught up on that either. Those are very weird things to base a relationship around or to be with somebody because of. So I think compatibility is a big thing, but you shouldn't let weird stuff like that define compatibility.
All right, we appreciate that. I like the point on religion. That is one thing I always feel like if you're not, first of all, some people are political. I feel like if you're not the same political party, that's a huge conflict. Me and Z are not political. We are neutral. But if you are, I feel like that's something you probably want to be on the same page about. I don't think you want a
Right.
Republican married to a Democratic, at least in the world we live in currently. And then, like you said, the religion is huge. We know certain religions have their different holidays than other religions. We know some religions don't celebrate holidays at all. Like we don't celebrate holidays or nothing. So just imagine if like a Jew and a Christian marrying is kind of crazy. I'm not saying you, it's some out there 100%. I'm not coming at you, but Hanukkah and Christmas, even something like that, just like where is the in between? I don't know. But you mentioned one point in particular, not to get caught up on certain things that don't really matter. Does a person's past matter? Like if you're talking to a lady, or if I'm talking to a woman, right? And her past is just way different than mine. Like it's just completely different. Does that matter as much, or can that still be worked out?
For one, to comment on the holiday thing, I don't think the holidays matter too much. I think it's more so the beliefs of like afterlife and
For
what's
sure.
right and wrong type situations. So, but the background thing I think does matter to an extent. We all grow up differently. Just because someone grows up in a rich neighborhood
Hmm.
and someone grows up in the hood, I don't think that means they can't be a match. But at the same time, people care about the past, and we all care about the past differently. Some people may hear one thing and be like,
Mm.
"Oh, that's too much." Some people may hear they went through a lot of things, and that's perfectly fine with them. They just want to be with the person. So I think the past does matter, and you just gotta find someone who can accept your past. And not everybody will do that. And that's fine. And you shouldn't accept everybody's past. You want to have some standard for sure, but nobody's perfect. You also want to keep that in mind.
We appreciate that. That was the first one. Compatibility. Like Z said, nobody's perfect. At the same time, don't just date anybody. You know what I mean? See what they got going on. The second one we got for today, and we only have three. The second one though is personal needs. Everybody needs is different. Your personal needs is different from Brandy. Brandy's is different from yours. So, personal needs. This specific question is: how can someone express what they need without sounding like demanding?
How can they do that? I think it's all in your tone and how you say it. You can
Mm.
say a message, and if you say it aggressive or demandingly, it comes off one way. But it's just how you word things. Like if you're working at a job and you feel like you need a raise, you could go up to your boss and say, "I feel like I deserve a raise. I do so much around here, yada yada yada, blah blah," right? And you're asking for that money, but it's in a way that's not palatable, right? They're not gonna take that the right, even if it's a patient person. They're like, this person's like, well, they're talking to me like this is crazy. Compared if you go up to them and say,
Mm-hmm.
I see these are the expectations to move up, and I feel like I hit these expectations, and this is how I do it. Is there anything I'm missing to move up in the company? That saying something like that is going to go over so much better with your boss, where you'll have a greater chance to get what you want. So when you're with your partner, you have different ways you can say things, and if you say things in a way that is very aggressive and demanding, then it might not be great. Maybe you'll get what you want, but it's not gonna be as palatable, and it's not gonna build you guys up. But if you say things in a way where you're almost reasoning with them, that's the best way to put it. If you're reasoning with them, like, then you'll get what you want more so.
Nah, that's true. You said it pretty much right away. Tone is everything. You can say anything to somebody, but it's about how you say it. It's just that simple. Um,
Mhm.
One thing, men love and they crave respect. It's just an unknown fact. Like a man can never tell you, but if he's respected, you could pretty much get anything from him. I'm not gonna lie. Like we love respect. It's just how we feel good. If a man is disrespected, that ego kick in, and who knows what could happen. On the other hand, women just love to be loved. Like they want love. Like you know what I'm saying. So if they man is showing that he love them in word and action, then it's gonna be good. So, like Zach said, it's a way to go about it. If you need something, if you feel like your relationship is lacking this from your spouse, don't tell them like you would tell a kid something on the 10th time. Like, no, don't treat them like that. Present it in a way that you would want it presented to you. You understand what I'm saying? So keep that in mind for the second one we had of personal needs. The third one, maybe my favorite. Family slash friends, you know what I'm saying? When you date the person, they say, well, one, we'll just skip to marriage. When you marry the person, they say you marry the family. You know what I mean? If that includes her mom, her dad, her siblings, all her cousins, whoever she's close with, that's what it includes. So the question is, with family and friends, it's pretty simple but deep. How do you handle outside voices when it comes to your relationship?
How do you handle outside voices? I would say there, if you're dealing with reasonable people, there is no need to handle the voices. And if they are not respecting your relationship, you pretty much don't need them in your life. And that's not an issue that I personally have come across where, my parents or her mom or friends are just going crazy over it. It's been a very smooth process in terms of that. But there are definitely some people who go through that, and you just gotta you try to reason with people. You don't want to like ruin these relationships, but at some point you gotta prioritize your relationship. You have to, and if the person can't do that, then the person just isn't for you. But what does the Bible say? They'll stick to their partner and they'll leave the mom and dad behind, pretty much, right? So when you think about that, your parents are some of the closest people you'll ever be to in your life. And if it's saying leave them behind, that's just what's going to naturally happen. It happens in life, and obviously you want to keep everybody, around. But if they're bringing this negative energy, you don't need that. There's already enough badness in the world. But generally speaking, it should be fine. And it shouldn't be a problem. And if something does get out of hand, just reason with them. I don't think people should be unreasonable. You could break things down in a way where someone understands, to politely back off, or that you have that handled, or maybe you do appreciate their suggestion and you say, I do appreciate it. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. So there's different ways to handle different situations. There's no one answer for everything.
No, that's facts. Will some people really go through this? You were fortunate where you didn't. Some people are dealing with families that don't want them a part of that family. And my advice to that is, one, you gotta set boundaries right away. You gotta set boundaries with the people who tweak, with the tweakers, we'll call them, with the tweakers in the family. You gotta set boundaries. Like, hey, if you gonna keep tweaking as a grown person, then this is what's gonna happen. And at the end of the day, for everybody out there in a relationship that they going through it right now, like they parents don't like their spouse, and like you stressing about it, your spouse stressing about it, whether you just a boyfriend or girlfriend right now or you married. I'll tell you one thing straight up. One thing straight up. Z just said that a man will leave his mom and dad and stick to his woman. That's scriptural. And you gotta understand out there, your mom and dad were just like you about 20 to 40 years ago. They weren't always together. They had to date too. And I bet that their parents necessarily didn't like each other either. But guess what? They still dated, they still got married, and they're still living. They're living a happy life. So don't ever let anybody stop you from dating or being in a marriage, especially when it comes to family and friends, outside voices, because one, they'll most likely get over it because they're not the first people who didn't like somebody that their son or daughter dated. That's one. And then two, if they don't get over it, then that just shows their true colors. Like that's really called selfish is what it is, because they don't respect a decision you made as a grown adult to do something that makes you happy. And it's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. So please remember that if your people don't support you, I know it's hard, I know it's heartbreaking, I know. But I'm gonna tell you this: one, life goes on, and you gotta ask yourself, do you want your life to go on with that person who you love or without? You answer that question, you'll have your answer. You see what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. We had some good tips today about compatibility, personal needs, and family and friends, kind of outside voices interfering. So keep that in mind for relationship tips. And we'll have a part two soon enough with the guru himself, Zachariah.
There we go. We appreciate that. And speaking of relationships, a great place people go in terms of couples are cruises. And that's what the next segment is about. What's more fun on a cruise? Watching the sunset or watching the stars at night? What's more fun?
Watching the stars at night. Yep. I'm a star guy, so it's that simple. Yeah, I'm a star guy, it's that simple. I live on a lake too. Let me rewind that. I don't live on a lake. I live by a lake that's called Michigan. Um,
Let's say
so
you
I've
sound
seen
rich.
I've seen the sunrise. Right, I've seen the sunrise over Lake Michigan and all the glory and how beautiful it is. Um, so like I'm not gonna say it's definitely not the same as being in the middle of the ocean when it happens, but I just like the stars. That's my answer. I love the stars. When I'm at night and it's dark and I see the stars, I think of how we live in a dome, how we can escape anytime we want, but we're not astronauts. I like stars too because I've seen a lot of shooting stars. I enjoy the sky. Astrology.
I feel that it's a coin flip for me. If you've ever been on a cruise, they're both, especially the first time, it's just amazing. Like watching the sunset, nothing around, just water, and you're just looking out on your balcony. It's just beautiful. Or even if you don't got a balcony, let's say you go to the top of the ship, by the pool, it's just like it's breathtaking. And then at night, there's no lights around, right? Nobody ever talks about that. There's no lights. It's pitch black out there, and you can see every star in the sky. Every star. It's the closest thing you'll get to like the movies where they show the sky and there's a million stars up there, even though you're at home and you see like two. So yeah, they're both
Mm.
very beautiful. But yeah, maybe the stars have a slight edge because when you're home you don't really get a chance to see that many. But the sunset is something. It's not the same as Lake Michigan. You're right. It's something else. What's more fun on a cruise? The unlimited food or unlimited drinks?
I'm gonna have to say drinks with this one because I don't know, to have unlimited
E-
alcoholic drinks is crazy. I'm not talking about the regular ones. But then again, the food. So the alcohol is like an out of the cart though. You gotta buy that package. Having unlimited food though. Nah, I still say
and
alcohol.
it's
I
watered
mean
down.
drinks. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Thank you to
fair
the
enough.
non-alcoholic drinker
Uh,
in the whole family who says it's watered down because other people say that. Thank you. Thank you, Z. We appreciate that feedback from you.
Yeah, it's been reported. It's been reported that it's watered down. Anyway, the unlimited food is 100% better. And second of all, just so you know, when I was doing my research for the Virgin Voyage, everything is included in the price already. So like with Royal, we buy stuff after the fact, which makes it a little cheaper technically, and you can like go up if you want. But with Virgin, everything's included. So once you buy that room, you have the Wi-Fi, you have the drinks, you have, and they said you have every all the dining. So you don't have to pay for extra dining. You can get any dining in the whole ship, and they have like 25 different restaurants. Yes, bro.
Oh yeah, we
Wait,
gotta
bro.
hit a
Yeah, we'll talk
Virgin
about this more after the
Voyage.
podcast. Yeah, we'll talk more after the podcast, but it was going crazy. So the one after this next one we have coming up, 2027, definitely Virgin, definitely to test it out. But yeah, it's all included. So that's why when you said it costs extra for drinking, I was like, well, for some ships, because Virgin, it's in there. Crazy.
Okay.
Anyway, what's more fun on a cruise? Activities on the ship like rock climbing, ice skating, water slides, or the shore excursions like zip lining, jet skiing, snorkeling. And it's not excluded to those, just to get your memory going.
Nah, the short ones are because it's just more to do, and the cruises like we ziplined on the cruise before and it was fun. However, ziplining through the jungle and shoot, in Puerto Rico. Where was Puerto Rico? In Puerto Rico, ziplining through the jungle in Puerto Rico, and the Puerto Ricans think I'm them. Like that's way better than just ziplining on the cruise. Like, and you know what I'm saying? That's you gotta you're talking about two things that are amazing. Some people never been on a cruise. Some people never been on a zip line, and I did them both on the same boat. You know what I'm saying? And then I got off the boat and just did it in the jungle with everybody. So that's two amazing things. But doing the shore excursions are better because they're elevated if they're the same, and they have more.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's the craziest thing. We can literally say we went ziplining on a cruise and in a jungle. Like that's so dope. But yeah, the shore excursions are definitely a little more fun. Plus, it's a little less packed, but they cost a little more. You know, the boat ones I like a lot, and maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a coin toss again. It's just the cruises is great. They're just great. It's a win-win either way. It's a win-win. It's all fun. It's all fun. But yeah, that's it for that though. What's more fun on a cruise? Because we was just talking about cruises the other day. I'm looking forward to our cruises coming up. But yeah,
Man, book your local cruise. We're not gonna say where because it's not sponsored yet, but in the future it will be, and we'll have a link right here with a discount code from the Westmoreland Bros, so you can cruise for a lower price in the future. The last one we got right now,
bank
though,
that. Bank on
is
it.
a blind ranking. Yeah, bank on that. The last one we got for today is a blind ranking on dumb things that I have done. You know what I'm saying? So this is me. Zach is always exposing me with my Instagram pictures and stuff. So I just figured I get ahead of the curve a little and talk about things that I've done that are stupid. So the first one might be Zach's favorite on the list. I ran around the house butt naked when I was a kid because Zach dared me. So I just said YOLO Dolo and ran around.
Now, what could be better than that? Pause. I'm gonna say I'll put that at number two because that was. I'm gonna put that at number two because that was absolutely crazy. And something you could not get away with nowadays. I think that prank has to be abandoned, bro, because there are so many cameras nowadays. Like if you run outside, your neighbor's Ring doorbell is immediately recording you. Back then that wasn't a thing at all. Like if you had, I'm trying to think if people have cameras at all. Like I think maybe they did, but it was like really old ones, and you had to have a decent amount of money to get them installed. Now you can buy them and install them yourself, and it's super easy. But yeah, there's no way somebody could do that nowadays and not get caught. And he did that broad daylight too. It was crazy, and nobody ever said nothing to our parents about it, which means nobody saw it. So yeah, that was a crazy one. I'll say number two though because I don't know what you could possibly pull out.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I could pull out for number two. Back in the day, it was a conversation between a long distant cousin we have, apparently somebody else who was Zach's age, and they were all about 2.5 years older than me. So they, puberty hits different, and they were out there bragging about certain things, and they tried to come at me. Me, little big dog, I got to show them. So this is the time I peed on our distant cousin for talking crazy. He said I wasn't gonna do it, so that's that one.
You know, there we go. I'm glad I left the number one spot open. I'll take that. I'll take Candy peeing on Isles at number one. I said names. Oof. Yeah. So I'll take that in the number one spot.
He said it.
That wasn't even a prank. I don't know why.
Oh.
I don't. Yeah, Candy's crazy. That is insane. Candy literally peed on somebody, man. Candy as a little kid was a menace. So Kennedy peeing on somebody definitely has to go at number one right there. And now I'm nervous. Now I wish Kennedy running around the house butt naked was a little lower. So we'll say that's the butt naked is still number two, and then peeing on Niles is number one. And once again, after he peed on him, he ran again. So yeah, there's a lot of running.
Hey man, shout out good times. The third one I got, Z called me on the phone. He like, bro, you gotta get home. They woke up, and I think the police coming. So I snuck out one night. I tried to go to the movies with a couple of the homies and a couple other, and well, yeah, I snuck out, had the police called on me. So where does that rank?
I will put that at number 5 because I feel like there are better ones. But yeah, Kenny sneak out a lot, man. He was a bad kid. And I have videos, like there's videos I tried to delete my phone and one of the longer ones actually, I don't know if the cop was there, but I know my dad was talking to you, and it was about either that situation or something similar. And I'm like, yeah, I can't delete this. This is a gem. If I delete this, I'm never gonna get this back. So yeah, I still have that video. We have to watch that together, bro. That was crazy. But yeah, I said it's number 5. Not to say it wasn't good, but I feel like there's better things.
Yeah, it was a crazy night. Zach pretty much called me with that. I told the people I was with I gotta go home. They took me home, but I stopped at the gas station before I went home, ladies and gentlemen, because I knew they was like, "Where is he at? What's he doing?" So I had to have a quick lie. Went to the gas station, grabbed a few snacks, and then I had a few things on me I shouldn't have, so I ducked those off. And then I went in the house, and as soon as I opened the door, the cop turned around and he's like, "Is that him?" And I'm like, "Oh God, are you talking about me?" So that's how that story went. So yeah, that's number 5 for Z's blind ranking. We got 2 more though. The next one I got is one you might not remember as well. Pretty much I was in art class one day. I did not like this teacher we had. Obviously a woman. Well, not obviously a woman. That was kind of crazy. But she was. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. That was kind of crazy. It was a woman teacher.
Obviously, it was a woman that got me in trouble. You know how
I
the
did
women be them women teachers. They don't.
bro.
It was that
She
time of
used
the
to
month.
pick on me, bro. She used to pick on me because for whatever reason, bro. She probably low key thought I was a little cute kid. She was weird like that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going for none of them shenanigans though. So she tried to take it places it didn't have to be taken. So long story short, I pretty much told the teacher, I'm like, if I was a woman, I would hit you, and the school suspended me for that. So where does that rank? And listen, hold on. Before we continue, one, I've never hit a woman in my life. Two, I don't support domestic violence. And three, I told her if I was a woman, not currently. So keep going.
Keep in mind, he just did a domestic violence awareness thing like a month ago. Anyway, I'll say this is number. Kidding, bro. Bro, if we ever blow up, bro, people are gonna start clipping things left and right, bro. They gonna throw that right there in the front and throw this one right after it, bro. Oh my, I
But bro,
can see it already.
when we make it, it's gonna be
Oh
great
my
because when
god.
we get interviewed, I'm gonna share stories already. Like it's nothing to hide. This is the kid I used to be, and I've grown up. I'm about change. You see what I'm saying? Change and
You used
reformation,
to.
or whatever that is.
The awarenesses are about him. Be aware of people I used to be. So I'm gonna put that at number 3 because I do not remember that story at all. That is crazy work. And the fact that I got expelled for doing something that wasn't even my fault, you literally told a teacher to her face that you would hit her if she was a woman. That's number 3,
Bro,
buddy. You're a
you
bad
should have
guy.
saw. She ran. I was sitting at my table, and she like right here, and I'm man, if you was a woman, I mean, if I was a girl, I'd just hit you, bro. She looked at me like I literally threatened her.
Rented.
And then she ran
Rented.
to that phone. You gonna get down her right? I'm like he's threatening. He was gonna hit me. He just said he's gonna hit me right now. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't say all that. I just said if you were a girl. I mean, if I was a girl.
If she was, so it's not a girl. It
Nah,
was like a Bruce Jenner.
if a guy was talking to me, like that's crazy. All right, the 5th spot is using mom's car at night without her ever knowing or not ever telling me she knew.
So now, when we say mom's car, you're talking about Pontiac, or are we talking about the van?
I used both.
Oh, okay. I remember the van.
But the
I don't remember
Pontiac, the Pontiac was what I started with because the van came later.
Oh, okay. I don't remember using the Pontiac. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I remember the van because we did that once. Like before I had a license, we were like going across the street and we almost got in a car
He
crash
almost
going
killed.
across the street.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
almost
that
killed us
was.
saying, "Oh yeah, great cars blend in with the ground."
We almost died. Who knows what you use the Pontiac for? Obviously, I said number 4. I think I'm fine with it at number 4. I might have put it at number 5 and moved the police thing up because the police thing was actually kind of funny and crazy, dude. That was like the end of like. That was just so fed up, man. The Pontiac was like leading up to that. The cops thing was like that was just finally done with all your nonsense. And
The
then what was
Pontiac
the
could have got me. The Pontiac could have got me in a lot of trouble though because Tone can tell you about times I took it. Adam could tell you about times I took it. And one time, bro, the car's full. It's 4 of us in there. You see what I'm saying? I got 3 of my boys with me, and we driving down. You remember we used to live off Deer Run on Green Bay Road? So the road is divided though. The whole one side is for one lane of traffic. Like it's like 2 roads, but it's 2 lanes, but it's all for that side of the road going one direction, then the other one. And it's stuff in the middle, so you can't like just skip over. Bro, I'm driving on the wrong side of the road in Brown Deer at night, fam. I'm on the opposite side and I can't switch back over to the correct side. So me and the boys just gotta keep going. And we like, dog, they telling me this. They're like, bro, you wild. We finna get caught. Like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, we already here. Like, I gotta keep going till like I could turn. It was one of the craziest things, bro. I done hit mom's Pontiac Vibe so much that she don't even know about. She be like, where did this dent come from? And I don't know nothing about that dent. But I done hit a fire hydrant with her thing. I tried to drive. I tried to reverse one time and I went straight instead. And all in front of me, it's a mountain, bro. It's a mountain of dirt that leads to trees just like this. So I hit it and I'm like, oh crap. And then I back out. And I'm like, man, I'm in trouble. But I get out and the bumper's still on it. So I'm like, bet, we can get home though. It's still on it. I ain't got nothing to say. So yeah, it was plenty times, man. Shout out moms and pops. Appreciate y'all.
All right, well, this is all news to me. We got a lot of stories to tell on this on the next conversation we have. Anyway,
Stories,
yeah,
man.
yeah, good times. It's a good list, and I still stick with my top two is there. The bottom three can get switched in anyway, but top two is definitely peeing and running around the house. Those are crazy.
Yes, sir. But hey, man, that's the podcast for this day. We appreciate you watching 67 podcasts with us. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And Z, tell us the quote for the week.
Quote of the week is: success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm.
Make sure to like, comment, share with everybody you know, and subscribe.